Okay, Dryland, day 7, or day 3 of week 2. It is hump day. We're getting ready to go. Just like the rest of the week, we're looking very similar to what we did last week. Again, the duration on our isometric holds has moved up from 5 seconds to 8 seconds. One subtle change here. Last week we did RDL reverse flies. This week we're doing RDL bent over rows. I don't have a video for it, but again, you're going to do the RDL down. You're going to do double arm row, and then back up, and that is your rep. Other than that, our new exercises that we're doing, we've got bent over IYT raises, superset with bird dogs. We've got Ironman IM and some stretching. We also have some jogging and sprinting. I didn't have camera work of that either. That is super self-explanatory. All right, here we go. Into our first stuff, the bent over IYT with bird dogs. Again, you're supersetting those two together. The IYT is much like we did last week. Last week we did standing. Today we're doing bent over. That just means that we are, again, bent over and we're working more of our back in the rear part of our shoulder than the tops and front of our shoulder. So you can see it here again. We've got the I, we've got a Y, and a T. Also, if you notice, I abbreviate bent over, BO. So when we get in the pool, you'll notice that I abbreviate breakout, BRO. That's why, because I already had BO was reserved for bent over. That's for my own, not confusing myself. Here we go into our bird dogs. This is, we've done these, but we're going to be in that tabletop position, right? Opposite leg, opposite arm, touching elbow to knee, and then fully extending, okay? Fully extending, keep it going. Use your core to stay balanced. You'll see here in a second, I'm going to demonstrate what I don't want you to do. If you are not getting the full extension like this, you see my arm is not going all the way up, my leg's not going all the way up, you're not going to get anything out of this. So please do your best to fully extend. Your legs should kick up above where your back is. Okay? Here we go, Ironman IM. I think you're going to love this one. Those of you that grabbed 8-pound dumbbells, that might be a little bit much here. So I would suggest getting some milk jugs and fill it up with just a little bit of water. Don't fill it up all the way, or get a little bit lighter weight. So what you're going to do, we're going to be in this bent over position again, and basically we are going through a mock IM. Okay, so we're doing our mock butterflies first. I believe we have 8 reps here. Okay, then you go right into your backstroke. Now, yes, you are going to do just 8 reps of backstroke. It's not 8 stroke cycles, so you'll see just 4 on each side. And then we go right into our breaststroke, again, trying to stay in that bent over position, doing a little bit of the mock stroke. And then, of course, we finish with freestyle. Okay, trying to keep your arms up as they're extended, and then obviously working through the strokes here. This should really, really, really kill your shoulders. And then for our finisher today, we've got stretching. I didn't really have names for any of the stretches that we're doing, so when we go through and you see the video, the name will pop up. They'll have question marks. Just haven't had a definitive name, but we are going to do mostly legs and low back here. So we've got what I would call a seated hammy with a lateral or a lat extension. So seated hammy, you got one leg tucked in, your other leg is out straight, trying to keep it as flat as possible, as extended. You're going to grab your toes, all right? And then once you're in a good position there, you're going to turn your body towards your extended or your bent knee, and you're going to reach that opposite hand over the top of you towards your foot as well. Obviously, if you're not quite this flexible, you can grab underneath your calf. If you are really, really flexible, just work it as deep as you can. It's this over and extending the back that I think is going to be really nice. Get those, the lats, the low back incorporated into this stretch. Okay, obviously you're doing both sides here. You might find that one side is tighter than the other. I find that my dominant side, the right side, is typically tighter. So here we go into our next one. Glute hug and twist. So you can see here first I kind of hug my knee up to my chest, then I put it over my other leg, and now I'm going to twist my shoulders and chest around and really get that extension, that twisting, pulling motion in the low back and into the glute. So it should be a stretch right in your butt and low back. Remember with all these stretchings, to keep breathing, keep a constant breathing pattern. And because we are holding a static stretch, we're going longer than 30 seconds here. As you breathe and as you start to loosen up, gradually sink more into the stretch. Okay? If you feel too comfortable, then you're going to want to go a little bit more into the stretch. Okay? For those of you that are tight, go gently into this. And if you can't quite get it, just do your best. If you are struggling, it might be a stretch that you want to do every day, every other day, just to get your body's flexibility. Last one here is frog pose. Yes, this looks a little weird. I'm trusting you guys to be mature. Thankfully, you're doing this on your own. If you're like me and you have very, very sensitive knees, you might want to grab a little bit extra. So you can see I've got a towel down, or not a towel, a blanket. You could use a towel. Basically, your knees are spread out. You're sitting almost like you're in child's pose, but your legs are spread out a little bit. You're going to try and, the first part is you're trying to sink back onto your heels with your butt. Now you can see here, the second part, we're going to lean forward and try and press our hips into the ground. Okay, so take 30 seconds in your back pose, right? Really stretch out that groin, work down into the butt, and then again, after your 30 seconds, you'll slowly come forward and press your hips towards the ground, and you should feel your hips here on that. And those are our stretches. Obviously, again, if you're tight anywhere else, you can go through the or some more stretches if you'd like. I put just 30 seconds of stretching. I didn't give you a number of times you need to do this. Go through at least once. And if you're feeling like, oh, that felt really good, or I'm still pretty tight, go through again. And then do your best to remember these stretches. Remember what we're stretching here, so that, you know, on one of those days where stretching isn't mandatory and you're like, oh my gosh, my hips are just really tight, you'll have these in the back of your head to think, oh yeah, if my hips are tight, I can do frog pose. Okay, so as we're going through these, I'd like you to be really paying attention and learning about what each stretching, what each exercise is working. I'm hoping you guys are getting through these pretty well. Again, we'll meet on our Fridays, so if you have any questions, then is the time to ask. All right, enjoy your Wednesday.